That's a little better. We can see it. Hey guys. So on the last video, we went through the formatting of this particular resume over on, I guess it'll be on your right-hand side. And on that is a structure and bullet points of what makes a great typical resume. There are exceptions to these things, all right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm picking a bunch of sort of somewhat random resume that we're going to look through over on the side here. Okay, so I'm just going to have this one set to the side, and we're going to come in and we're going to look at these and see what I see and what sort of things I could change for somebody as they go through here to make their resume better or tell you things that you can learn from it. All right. So on this particular one, first of all, we don't truly need the full address. Okay, so we can save some space, especially. So their name obviously would be up here under the maintenance worker example. I see there's 8 years of experience. That gives me, okay, I know they're an independent contributor. I know 8 years of experience. I might be looking for 3 or 5. They've got an associate degree in technology. Okay, that could be interesting too. And it might be a requirement for a given job. We have the dates. It does actually show it shows the months on here. It doesn't, and that's something in some cases you could just drop out. If you have them on and it works with your story, that's fine. It's not going to be a big deal. Don't worry about it. All right, but then we also see maintained 100% safe record since first day of employment 5 years ago. Boom, that's a success story. Yay. Okay, the guy did good, or gal. I'm taking a guess about this. It's Jocelyn, so gal. So in any case, let's see. They accepted deliveries, provided. What else? I'm looking for some more. There's some specific skill sets that they're talking about in here. I'm still kind of looking for some stories that are in here. When we get down to the additional skills, they do talk about some skills that they have and various things, but they don't mention that associate degree. So, I'm sorry, they do. Okay, it's under education. It wasn't where I was expecting it to be. I thought that was another job. So. But see, I want you to see how when we look at these things fast, we can miss information. So we want to be careful. I would differentiate that by actually putting an underline under education here to make sure that they're seeing the difference on that. Again, I mentioned on the other recording that I would probably leave the date off of here in a lot of cases too. So we got a basic resume. We want to see if they fit in the bucket of the job that we're trying to fill next. So let's go to the next one. Different kind of job. Okay, first thing we see, CPA accountant. Okay, I know what part of the business that they're in. I know what level. They're an independent contributor. They are 4 years of experience. Brooklyn. Let's see, they've got a LinkedIn profile that I'll click on and that'll take me out there to see them. So that's kind of cool. Let's see, looking for an opportunity at a fast-growing company to build out the best accounting practice and make accounting a competitive advantage to the organization. Okay, it's kind of a generalized statement that's, it's not bad, it's not terrible, but it's a little dull. It's a little, it's just not adding a whole lot because it's so bland that a skateboarder could say that about a skateboard company and they wouldn't be wrong. Okay, looking for a fast-growing company to build our best accounting practice. So next we see the senior accountant. Okay, so it's senior level, so we know there's one step up as an independent contributor. They've been there a while. Managed portfolio of government and private foundation grants totaling over $7 million. That's a success, and again, it's a quantified example. Let's see, there's saving over 33 hours of manual work labor down below. We've got reached 25% more community members. Those are great success stories. I love that. Now, a couple things I don't care about on this resume. I don't like this sidebar over here. I'd prefer to have the education just drop down in the center and move that bar off. I think there's a lot of wasted space on this most of the time. There can be exceptions to this. They managed to pack their education in here pretty concisely. It's in the skills. So normally I would just drop those down below, and I would keep all the information so that you don't have to jump around so much. So if we're just reading top to bottom and we continue and we get the whole flow of them, that's easier to read than it is if you have to jump back and forth across the page and try to figure out, how all this stuff fits together. You can see the education happened before their first job in August of 2016, but it's up above, so it gets confusing. Well, wait a second. Did you go, when you're thinking about it quickly, you start thinking, well, did you do your education before this job because it's above it? So, I think it's going to be cleaner if we just bring it all out to the edges and fill everything out top to bottom, and it just organizes the information better in that way. So that's my only I would be a little careful of this, the font and the color. Okay, this color isn't going to print well. It's not going to look good when you print it. All right. We generally, most cases, we want to stick with just black and white. Keep it simple. Now, if he wants to send the fancy, pretty-looking version and then send a boring regular copy too, I'd recommend that, okay? Because we want to make sure it can be read, all right? So let's see. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so Darla, she's cashier, accurate, efficient, dependable, customer focused. We've got a good use of the bullets here, but she's kind of doubling that up because we could save yourself that amount of space up on top and just put it in the skills. As a matter of fact, it probably already is. Customer focused, customer service excellence. Those skill sets are already there. So I think she could actually save some space on this by just getting rid of those key terms. And then again, we're going to make sure that the skill sets are things that people are looking for in the job description. So shrink reduction, there's a common term in retail. So let's see, but energetic, hardworking cashier, valued for fast, friendly service. I like that word, valued. Quickly moving them through the check process. All right. So she seems to understand her job. Then we get into ABC Company, one of the largest grocery box realtors in the U.S. That could probably be dropped below the name of the company. And you could also stack up the town and the title together so that you've got this one really long sentence and then you've got two short little sentences. Well, you could even those out, and put the cashier up underneath the company name. That's usually the best place for it. And then it mentions basically aspects of her job, and then create exceptional guest experience. I think she says, employee of the month within 6 weeks of being hired. That's a success story. Those are the things we're looking for in these jobs. Okay, so this is a lower end position, entry level position. Maybe she only had one job prior to this. That's not uncommon. So there's a good chance that's the case, and that's fine. If that's what it is, that's what it is. She's defining herself as a cashier because she's going after. Now, what if she goes after a different type of job, or they call that job something different? Well, she needs to change the name of this cashier to something else, okay, so that it's targeted toward that job. We need to lead people's minds to the right conclusion around these things, okay? And right here is cashier. She's going to be a cashier. No, I don't want to be a cashier. I want to be a salesperson. But it didn't say that. It says you're going for a cashier position. No, that's not what I meant. Okay, see the difference there? So if she's coming in here, she needs to write down salesperson, even though her experience is as a cashier. This is what she's looking to do. So that front top sentence or paragraph needs to be targeted toward the job you want rather than the jobs you had. Don't let them label you. You decide on your own. Even if you don't have that much experience in it, you need to decide and tell them, this is what I'm seeking. This is where I'm going. This is my objective to get this job, okay? And there are ways to manage that as well. So we can talk about, there's a certain level of sales that happens in a cashiering position. All right. So, if that's the case, then she can talk more about those particular things rather than others. But in any case, those are a couple things that were worth learning on this one. I love that she's got her LinkedIn URL on there too. Okay, so we got Ellen here. Let's see. Again, she can leave her address off of there. Sorry, this one's a little bit blurry. It's not the easiest one to see, but she's got the professional summary. I like the layout. It's easy to read. Goes from front to back. It's got the position and then the name of the company. I typically like the name of the company first and then the position, but it's fine point. Typically, because, well, and here's why. If you do it this way, every time you get a new position, you have to rewrite the company name again. If you put the company name first, then you can have 4 or 5 different positions within that same company, which I did at REI. I worked there 12 years, and I had probably 6 different levels of position as I moved up to, through the ranks in the corporation. And so it's better to put the name of the company up on top. So I think that'll make good sense for you. Certificates and licenses down below. Even if you belong to Toastmasters or something like that, that would be helpful to your job. Put it down there. That can be a great thing to add in there as well. But overall, this is a good-looking resume. Yeah, I understand certified nursing assistant, over 8 years. And the skills that I'm looking for should be matched in there. Let's see, a lot of assessing. I see a lot of things that she's responsible for. I don't see a lot of great success stories. I would push harder to get some more success stories on this particular one. All right. Oh, you also notice CNA. If there are some acronyms that go along with your job, MBA, it's okay to use those. So feel free to do that if you need to, especially if it relates to the job. All right. What about the next one? Okay, what do we got here? This is a pretty classic layout, recognized for consistently exceeding annual quotes. Okay, that was a quote. Okay, so somebody must have said that about them. All right, so they've got their email. They could probably have a URL to LinkedIn. I don't know. This is probably a pretty old resume, though. So maybe it wasn't. LinkedIn was around back then. I was using it. Okay, so we've got a name, and again, this is just an example. But automotive business to business sales. All right, so that's pretty specific. Successful account manager. Again, be careful to use the words that they want you to use. All right, over 25 years experience. Be careful about going over more than that. And don't tell somebody you've got 35 years experience in that. Say over 25 would be a better way to say it, because you don't want somebody to say, the guy's too old or gal's too old to do the job. So we want to be careful about that. All right, so we also, let's see, growth. Revenue growth from Fortune 100 clients. All right, so they worked with some big companies. That's great. Let's see. Currently responsible for over 36 million in existing accounts and service customer requirements. Working United States top manufacturers such as Ford, General Motors. The name dropping is a good thing to do. I like that. Anticipated revenue of 8 to 10 million. I'd love to know their last revenue as opposed to anticipated revenue, but still there's some numbers attached, and again, it shows the size and scope of what they're doing. And down below, he gets into more details on increased sales by 23%. Bam, that's what we're looking for. Sales 6.6 million in 1998. Bam, those are the things that show this person's a doer. They get things done. Okay, and they got something to talk about. I love that. All right. Also, as a professional salesperson. This one has a bachelor in science, and a lot of people don't, and that's fine. Either way, coursework completed toward degree. All right, so there's an example of something that could be written down for somebody who doesn't have a full bachelor's degree, and it's okay. But professional development for somebody who is a salesperson, hey, they're in here negotiating skills. We've got sales and customer service courses, business planning, development. So those are some pretty cool things to add on there, because they relate to the job and show that this person is always growing and learning and trying to do some more things with their job. So personally, I love that. Now we're going to get into the next one's a little different. How's it different? Well, we've got this young man's face on here, which is pretty cool. I think there's, it's nice. Look, software engineer. Here's what he looks like. We would probably, I don't like this layout, as you know. I would rather have it, it's really tight. And there's very little in here that shows success stories. Okay, so it's just showing, member of student IT help desk. Were you any good at it? I don't know. All right, prepare detailed reports. Did anybody read the reports? Did you win any awards? So there is, let's see, graduated class of 2010, honor roll. That's a success story. Okay, so that's something. I love the technical skill sets. These are going to be important for somebody who is, in the software engineering. They have different software programs they need to know and learn and use, and it's important for you to list them because that's the fastest. That's going to be really a software recruiter, a software company. This area of expertise is the first thing they look. Do they have that experience or not? If they don't, bye-bye. See you later. And so that's something. So again, I like the color. I like the picture on here. I don't think it's gonna be too terrible. Although, if you print something like this, if they take let's say they print it off of the internet, some of these printers are going to just print everything in black and white, and that top section is going to be a big black mess. It's not going to look pretty at all. So you want to be aware of some of those kinds of things. He's got some stuff on here, and again, this is going to go to an engineering manager who's probably not the most creative sort. They probably want it to be pretty basic. All right, so consider the person you're sending this to as well. All right, but it's not bad, but there's definitely some things that could be improved on this particular one, and some things to talk about. Let's see, how about this one now? Why might we want some interesting things on this? Well, she's a visual artist. So this shows her work. All right, so I can take the time to look at what she's doing online, but I'm already seeing her work. So for that reason, that might be worth doing. Now, do you like her work or not? I don't know. Only seeing one piece of her work is a little risky. And it's also pretty confusing because I can't tell what she's done. Where are her jobs? They're not really on here. Education, awards, exhibitions. She's putting this on here, maybe to get a gig, and she's trying to get a job, maybe be a 1099 employee for a company. So this is more of a marketing piece than anything else. But in some cases, for creatives, they might have these kinds of marketing materials which take the place of a resume. All right. And could you get a job, from getting your foot in the door, doing some initial, work for a company? Sure. And they decide, hey, let's keep Angela on. All right. Well, that's great. But it's pretty clear who she is and what she does. And I can see some of the, awards. Those are success stories, so I like that. Education and her contact information, which is down below. And again, that scares me because it's too far away. I can't see Angela Vega. If I'm seeing just the top part of this page, who is she? Where's her? How to get a hold of her? You don't want to frustrate anybody in this process. Okay, so let's be careful about that. That information should be on top. How about another one? Here's another creative model. So here she has a picture because she's going to have a portfolio. Now, does she need the picture in here for this, or is she going to bring in her portfolio? No, she's going to have a book that she brings in that shows all of her work. But it might be worth putting on here. She does have some notable clients on the bottom. Runway and Ramp model. It shows the times. Now, there's a lot of potential gaps in here. Okay, it goes from 2019 to 2015 to this is big gaps. What is she doing between? I have no idea. Okay, this would be another marketing piece that you would do for any, like an actor. Be something similar. So for the creative jobs, these are going to be a little bit different. But this, again, takes the place of your resume, but bring your portfolio along when you show up, okay? How about this? Jane Doe. Okay, here's a basic one. But this kind of hits the marks, okay? So we've got highly experienced IT professional, data analytics, software development, troubleshooting, customer, let's see. So looking through that, I see the bullets, summary of qualifications, which again should match the job description. You see, I don't like her position above the company name, so immigrant services. That should be on top instead of the position. And then we go down through and we're looking for some of those success stories. And I'm not seeing great success stories on here, right off the top. And again, managers are going to read it as fast as I'm doing right now, just so you know. So if they don't read it, if this isn't sinking into them very quickly, but it says right up front here, information technology analyst, is that what I'm looking for? The summary of qualifications, is that what I'm looking for? Age and experience, I should say, basically just experience. I've got a master's degree. All right, probably give her a call. Now, I'd like to see some more success stories in here, and this printed up a little sloppy, but I apologize for that. That's probably my fault. But one other thing to be aware of when you send your resume in, is it making it in there in a format that can be read? I get resumes all the time that I can't read. They send it to me on some 10-year-old computer, and it shows up on my Mac, and it's just garbled. You can't read it at all. Now, I'm going to call them back and tell them that, but you know what? They send that resume over to a company, and it comes up garbled. They're not going to call you and tell you, hey, I can't read your resume. They're just going to go to the next one, and you just lost out. And how many times have you lost out without even knowing about it? That's not okay. So we want to test this. Send your resume to a couple friends. Make sure they're opening up the way they're supposed to. Save it as a PDF. Save it as a read text only version. The read text only version is not going to be pretty, but it always is going to be opened up. And it's okay to attach two different versions of it. If I was using that resume, one of those resumes that are creative, I would send a black and white version of that too. Attach both of them. They're not going to be hurt by doubling up that. You're being careful. There's nothing wrong with that either. Now, on some of my other videos, we get into questions and topics about follow-up. You want to call to follow up to make sure this thing got in there. One of the jobs I went for, I applied to this company 3 times, and the third time I called them, and they said, "What's your name?" And I heard this shuffle. And they said, "What's your name again?" I said, "Jeff Stemmerman." I said, "Can you come in today?" "I'm sorry, we lost your resume, but I just found it. I'd like to talk to you." Boy, it's a good thing I called. Okay, so there's some follow-up we want to do, and I will get into that and many other things like the interviewing and the negotiating, analyzing if these are the right jobs you want to go after, showing you what the odds are for getting a job through the internet, which is very small, versus going after the hidden job market, which is very big. 70-80% of jobs are never advertised. The only way to get a job through that is by networking in, and I'll show you exactly how to do that on some of the other videos. If you need additional help, you can always direct message me. I'm happy to help. And you can also get my course. My course covers all of this detail. It's the entire job search process front to back. 7 Habits of a Fast Job Search is something that I've put together and reviewed and studied for many, many years, and watch people use this stuff and win with it. If you want to get that job that you love, let's start right now. I'll show you how to do it. When I came into San Diego 20 years ago, it was now, I wanted to be a stand-up trainer, and I wanted to be a coach. and I didn't have any experience with that. Well, but what I did was I went out and I started volunteering to do presentations to high schools, colleges, drug treatment centers, and I did a lot of free presentations, got involved with Toastmasters. And when I got out here, I found a job. Wasn't advertised at all, but I found the job. I did my presentation. They loved it. They hired me. 3 months later, I got an opportunity to go for the management position in the office, to run the whole office, and I got that job too. All right, because I learned how to do this stuff. I got 3 pay raises in just 6 months and tripled my salary. It was great, okay? But it's because I got good at the job search, nothing else, all right? So you want to be good at the job and skilled at the job and learn how to, but that's details you can all learn along the way. We got to get good at these job search skills if we're going to have the best jobs. Otherwise, you're just victim to circumstance and hopeful. Oh, I just hope it's good enough. I hope my resume went through. No, get it right, okay? Fix this thing now. Don't have your resume suck when you send it to your friend. Get feedback from them or show them to an expert like myself, and let's get this thing done right so you can go after these better jobs, okay? I hope this helps you guys. I look forward to seeing you at the top, all right? You take care, and I'll talk to you soon.